All right, so we have this error right now, and to fix this error, we need to provide a query client provider to our app. And to do that, all we need to do is open our app provider that we created earlier. And right here, we can go ahead and use all those config that we've created. So I'm going to call this handle query client, and this will be equal to query client that we created. So that's it. And right here, we need to use the provider. So this will be query client provider, and right here we provide the client to that, and we call this handle client pro. And basically this what we need to do. And let's just put this inside. Yeah, so if we should come here, you can see the error has disappeared. And let's just monitor our API right now. Let's just go ahead and monitor our API call right now, and let's just try to make a call to our backend and see. So I'm just going to try some random, and you can see the request is being sent, and right here we're not receiving any response, which means that our backend is not running. So let's go ahead and start our backend. So let me go and see the backend and yarn start and dev in case we need to quickly change anything. Okay, so let's go back and try this. We're still getting an error. So let's look at this localhost uh, 4000. So let me see the port that our app is running on. Yeah, this looks correct, but let's just see if we're getting the right. Let's just see if we're getting the right URL. So everything here looks correct. Let me see. Everything here looks correct. I don't see why that's not working. So let's try another one. Um, we're having a cross error. Okay, so we're having a cross error right here, and let's see. Yeah, this is actually a cross error. We're getting this from another region, and to actually fix this, we need to do some settings in the enable crocs in our backend. And to do that, that's actually very simple with NestJS. So we just come over here, and right here we just say app.enable crocs, and basically this just everything we need to do for our app. And right now, if I should go ahead, you can see that request is actually being sent without any crocs, and we're getting a response now. So let me do that. We get another response. So let me go ahead. Right here you can see login field, login field. So let's use a real data. So let me just copy this. Let's use a real data this time. And if we should go ahead, and do, and the password is password, I guess. Password. Okay, let's try and log in now. You can see we logged in right now. You can see the user's data, the token, and the user's info. Everything is being sent back from our API, and this is exactly what we want. So let's just go ahead and do some basic things right here before we actually move to the dashboard page. So the first thing is, if we run into an error, we need to display an error message to the user, probably like a toast right here. So to do that, we need to use some hooks. So right here, let's just use do hooks. Okay, so for these hooks now, we're going to create a simple notification hook that we can use every anytime. We're still going to be using the package, but instead of using the package directly, I want us to use the hooks. uh, yeah. Or let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. Yeah. So for this, we also be using a state management. For the sake of this, we can just go ahead and install some kind of toast just to show the toast, success message, error message. But for the sake of this video, we're going to um, let's look at how to do manage store using um, this store manager called Zostad. So let's go ahead and do that. So right now we're just going to go and see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and install that package. So for the sake of tutorial, we can just install any toast package and just use it. But for the sake of tutorial, I think let me just show you how to use a store management for whatever you're doing. So this will be uh, let's go over to the front end because we need to install this package, and we do yarn add. So right here we need to actually do some things in our library. We need to in our library folders, we need to implement some things right here. Library, let's create a new folder and call it Zostad. And right here, let's index right here we're going to that's still installing. I think there is a problem with the installation. Let me just try and yeah, there is a problem. I think that's to do with network. Okay, we've installed that. So let's go ahead and create a config for that because we don't want to interact directly with the package. So I have this config file I always use. You can find it in the project structure. This is just to create a custom wrapper around the state management app that we're using. So instead of just using it directly, I prefer to create wrappers in case I want to give them like a default settings. I don't need to start giving the settings or start giving the options on different places I'm using them. So I first of all create a wrapper around the libraries I'm using them. From the libraries, I can easily use them in other pages. So let's go ahead and call this store. And for this store, we're going to have a notification store. Okay, we're going to have a notification store, and before that we need to install some few packages. So let me open. We're going to nanoid. uh Basically what this one does is help us to generate unique ID for our notifications. because we can have notifications stack upon each other, and we need an ID to actually track those notifications. So let's go ahead and install that. So it's more like doing everything by yourself, but then uh, the result will make you forget about the work that you're doing, because the results actually speak, because you have control over what you're actually building. So we're done installing that. Let's now go ahead and probably create our store. So I'm going to call this notification.ts. So this will be our store. This is where we're going to be installing our notifications into in. So let's do export type. Let's create a type for our notification first. Notification, and we call this type, and this will be have an ID of string, an ID of string. This we have a type of info, the type of notification that we're going to have, warning, we're going to have sources, and we're going to have error notifications. Okay, so we're going to have a title for our notification, which could be nullable. So we're not forcing that users must have a type, and we're going to have a message, um, and a position. Okay, and a position if we want it to be at the right, or we want it to be at the left, or we actually want it to be at the center. Anyhow you want it, it's left for you. So another type we need to create is the notification action. So this notification action is another type, so we need to do. So we're going to have two actions. We're going to have to add notification, to show notification, and to remove a notification from the notification stack. So this will be notifications actions, action type, and this will be show. This will have a notification, this will receive a parameter, and right here we just want to omit the ID. So this will be notification type, and right here we want to omit the ID. This is this will take all the type of this notification except the ID. Okay, this is just basic TypeScript. This will return a void. That means it doesn't return anything. And on the remove notification, we're just going to have an ID for the notification. Okay, so yeah, so the next thing is to actually create that store. So use notification store equal to create notification. This will take a notification store store type, store store type. Okay, if we're getting it correctly, yeah. And right here, this will take a set, and we can now go ahead and do something like this. Yeah, okay. So yes, this is all we need to do. Notifications uh type. Okay, notifications store types. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and define our notification store types. So we're going to say this is equal to a type, and right here we're going to define those types. So our notifications will be a type of the notification type that we created earlier. So let's just have that, and that's going to be like an array, because we might have more than one notification. So notification action, this will take the type of the notification action type that we created, and basically this is it. And the crate, let's just import this from our library, our library. So basically this is what we need to do, and let's go ahead and give our notifications. We're starting our notification with empty notifications, so we're initializing it with empty state. And for the actions, if you remember, we've created the actions right here, so we need to implement those actions. So we have the show, and this will take a notification. um yeah, we can now go ahead and do set, and this will be take a state, and right here we can have this, this, and yeah. Okay, so right now we can now notifications, and we can set those notifications. So when a new, this takes a new notification, and we just update the states that we have here. Okay, our state, which is the notification, we just update it with what's coming by using a spread operator. So we do id is equal to, we generate new id for the notification. So that's why we needed this application the other time. It generates id for us. Okay, and we spread out what, we spread out the previous notification, and we just spread out the states. Okay, we just spread out the state dot notifications, and basically this is all we need to do. And the next one is to remove a particular notification. Okay, so to do that we need an id, and we can just um, set that state. Okay, we want to set that state. So this will be set state, sorry, set state, and this will be um we're removing a notification, so we're going to use um notifications. We're going to be using state dot notifications, and we use the filter option to just remove the notification where the id is equal to the id that is, coming uh from the from wherever we're calling that function. So this will be notification dot id is not equal to id. Okay, and basically this is all we need to do, and we need to now export this. We need to export this, but the way we're going to do it is going to be different. So export constant use notification list, and this will equal to use notification store. Okay, and right here we just pass the state to that, and we just map it to note state dot notifications. Okay, and the next thing is to export const. Let's just go ahead and export use notification actions equal to use notification action, use notification store, and right here we just pass the state, and we pass those state dot actions. Okay, and basically this how you create a store. Now this store is now available globally in your application. You can create a store for whatever you want to do, but we're just using it for the notifications. Now to access this, we can create a use notification hook so that we can use that to access our notification anytime we need to access those notifications. So let's go ahead and create hooks. I think I created the folder the other time. Did I create it in the front end? Oh, I created it in the back end. So on our hooks, let's have use notifications dot est, and right here we're just going to export const use notification equal to use notification action. Okay, yeah, so instead of calling this directly, we just put it in a use notification hook, and yeah, that just do everything for us. And right here we do index.st, and we just export all from use notification. Okay, so we have the hook, we have everything right now, but what we don't have is the component that will actually be displayed when we actually want to, you know, display our notification. Okay, when we actually want to display our notification. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to create those components for our notification. I already have it in the project structure, and for the sake of our time, I'm just going to copy and paste those components. Remember, we are building this from scratch. We're building from scratch, so we don't want to use a package. We can just go ahead. There are tons of packages we can use for notifications. We can use there is a package called Suna. I think Suna Toast. Is it Suna? Yeah, I think Suna. Yeah, this is it. There is this package. There are tons of packages that we can use, but we want to build the notification, from scratch. That's why we have the notification state and everything. And if you want to use packages, you can easily go ahead and use any package of your choice. But this video is just to show you how you can implement, all these tools and the rest. So right now, I feel like I should have just used the package. I feel like I should have just used the package. So we're going to install some bunch of package. Um, let's see. Um, do we need to install? Yeah, we can just install some packages, but for now, let's just keep it. I believe we should just keep it simple. Um, you know what? Let's just go ahead and install packages because we want to build the notification component, and to build that, we need like an headless UI. So if you don't know what an headless UI means, is endless UIs are components that have been built but they don't have any designs. It's you that will now implement your design how you want it to look like. And this is basically what all these organizations and enterprises go for. And the reason why they go for this is that they can have unique designs on their part, and they can have that flexibility to control whatever they are building. Imagine we're using Imagine right now we're using package that has a toast, and we have to follow whatever the users or the author has implement in that package. So most big companies prefer to build all their components from scratch using headless UI. So remember, headless UI are UI that doesn't have designs, are components that doesn't have designs, okay, but they are working, they are the same thing. They don't just have designs. So I'm going to do yarn add headless UI. And what we're going to do right now is right here we're going to create a component called notification, and right here we're going to have a file called notifications dot tsx, and right here I'm just going to copy uh, those files, those codes. So that's it. um, check check the project object for clarity. So we have that. This headless UI is still installing. I don't know why it's taking long, but right now we also need to create. Okay, that's now installing. This should be notification for a single notification, and for multiple notifications we do notifications dot tss. Okay, and right here we just have this. We just have this right here, and we can from the store. Let's see, let's just import that from the store. Let's import this also. Let's import the usage. Let's import that, and let's also, what's this, type set. Okay, this like a rules, but let me just disable it. I don't know why it's complaining about that. Okay, so we have the notification, and right here index.ts, um, just to export everything else. So export all from notifications. Okay, yeah. So we export everything from notification. What else do we need to do? What else? What else? Yeah, we need to go ahead and use that notification. So in our login right now, we can just come here and use that notification. Okay, so we can just come here and use that notification. So this will be login, and right here we can just say const notifications equal to use notification. Okay, and one more thing I just remember right now. One more thing, we need to add the notification component that we just built. We need to add it to the app provider that we built already. So let's go ahead. um, App provider, and we need to add the notification right here so that our app can definitely use that notification, and we'll call this options equal to duration. I just want this to last for about few seconds, some few seconds, and yeah. So let's close that. Right here, let's import from components. Okay, yeah, that works fine. That works fine. And yeah, so we have the notification right here, and we can go ahead and start using it right now. um, so if an error occurred, we just want to say notification dot show. Remember we created these types for ourselves and the functions. So this will be show a type of error, and message, we can just call this um, we can just call this error dot message. Okay, and probably we can give it a title and just say login failed. Okay, this sounds nice to me, looks good to me. And on the sources we want to call uh, this should be sources. So this should be sources, and the message will be response dot message, or we just give it a successful and just say logged in, logged in successful. Okay, we can give logged in. Okay, so basically this just what we need to do. Let's go ahead and test that again. Right now let's just try this, um, and see. You can see we have the field, uh, we have it right here. The next thing, let's try a successful, um, this should be password. Okay, let's try a read. You can see logged in successful. Okay, so um, we're done with notifications, and the next thing we need to do right now is um, we need to build our auth provider so that when a user logs in, we can redirect them to the right page. And if the user is not logging, we can create some protected routes, authenticated routes, and we can definitely do that. But before then, we need to work on the create account. We just repeat the same process that we did on the login. We repeat it on the create account. So yeah, let's quickly do that, and I'll see you in the next video.